Hey, what's up, everyone? Kino here, back with another Penguin reaction. Just watched the sixth episode, or no, I think it's seventh episode, Top Hat, and I thought this was a pretty good episode. There was a lot of cool stuff in it, and some elements that were a little disappointing. In particular, what I didn't love about this episode is I don't know whether they're committing to like making Sophia a villain. Now I talked about that last episode. I was really scared from the way the last episode was going that they were gonna like make her just like she's done nothing wrong. She's just responding to the evil men in her life, and it's not that that's not true. It's not that the people in her life have not been horrible to her, but I was worried that it's gonna hurt her as a villain if they don't commit to like making her evil. See, this is what a lot of especially modern shows do wrong, I think, which is if they have a sympathetic villain, like they tend to kind of whitewash them. I think of in some ways Tyrion from Game of Thrones. Now it might be weird if you only watch the show to describe Tyrion as a villain, but he actually kind of is. He's kind of a bad guy in the book, so he does a lot of bad stuff. But in the show, they really whitewash that, and again because he's so sympathetic that they're like, well, if the people like him, then we don't want to make him do anything bad. And then Sophia feels like sort of the same way, where it's like, okay, in the first half of the show, we really established her, made her a sympathetic villain, or a sympathetic character, and now it's time for her to step into like the villain role, which is what she definitely is. Like, this is not a show about how Sophia is a good person and she is the deserving, she deserves to run Gotham's crime world because of her abuse or whatever. It's like, no, she's a villain in the story, and we need her to step up and do evil stuff because that's what villains do. Now there were some elements in this episode that I was like, oh, okay, this is a step in the right direction. I thought the way she handled her niece, I was like, it's funny they kind of do what her father did to her, which is she's in a mental institution, a group home kind of thing. I don't know what it is. It's weird that again Gotham's institutions look like this when this is not the 1800s or whatever. Like, why is she in a locked cell? Like, if she's in a group home, it wouldn't look like this. But regardless, she has her in there, and she's kind of gaslighting her to be like, no, I didn't kill your family, just like her father lied to her about killing her mother. But they kind of don't commit to this. They're like, I thought they were like, okay, they're really gonna go for this, and I was like, oh, that's awesome. But then she kind of has this moment where she's like, honey, I don't want to lie to you, your parents were awful and they deserve to die, and you're gonna be better off. So it's like it's a step in that direction, but then they tiptoe a little bit back. They're like, I thought they were gonna have Sophia like commit her and drug her up just like they did to her, and that's a good thing. They should do something like that. It's okay for a character to be hypocritical. In fact, that's awesome. The Sopranos, the inspiration for the show, was full of hypocritical stuff like that, and I was like, oh my god, I would make her such an awesome character. A lot of people nowadays, I feel like they would be like, oh, how could they have Sophia do that? She would never do that because of what she went through. Well, actually, a lot of times people do the same thing that was inflicted onto them. It's a natural human response, and it would be a great way of making her a great villain. Again, they sort of touch on that a little bit, but they don't. I want them to go all the way. Just have her be straight evil. I think it works given the sympathy we have for it. Just like Oz, we've made Oz a very sympathetic character, but he's still doing a lot of heinous stuff. And we see even in his backstory in this episode that he killed his brothers, kind of on accident, but kind of he's got that little bit of sociopathy even when he was young. He doesn't detract from the character. It makes him richer because of it. Makes him more interesting. So I just want them to do that with Sophia, and I worry that they're not really going to commit to that idea. Sure, at the end here, she blows up the thing and kills a bunch of people, and it damages the city too. But um, I wasn't sure. Like, I thought like, okay, maybe if she kills the mom, that would be even a cool. It wouldn't be as good because it wouldn't be as tied to her character as if she did it to that little niece of hers. But that would have still been something. I do wonder though if in the last shot it showed them leading her into the nightclub that the mom used to take Oz to when he was young, and they'd have their creepy mom and son dance. I wonder if she's gonna do a kind of Joker thing here, where like if you've ever seen The Killing Joke, where Joker sets up like this kind of house of horrors to like psychologically torture um Commissioner Gordon and Batman and stuff like that. I wonder if she's gonna do something similar in this nightclub to like psychologically torture Oz. That would be kind of cool. Um, but again, I really want to. I want them to commit to like having Sophia be evil. Um, she's still sympathetic. It's like if we make her do hypocritical and nasty stuff, it doesn't diminish her character. It doesn't make her character worse. In fact, it actually makes it better. So that's my big thought going into this final episode here. I thought everything else surrounding this episode was pretty good. I liked the characterization of Oz. I felt the conflict with Sal Maroni just dying by a heart attack kind of anticlimactic. I think they were trying to make a point about like Oz, I guess, taking credit for something he didn't do and being like, I beat you, I beat you. I think they were trying to say something about his character there. I didn't think it was that interesting. I would have rather him have I'd rather have him beat him or do something else. Like have Victor come in and save him. That would have been cool. In fact, we're wondering where Victor is in this episode. I saw in the preview for the next one they're gonna show Victor. But that would have been a cool step for Victor stepping up and becoming a serious gangster, which I think is where they're leading his character. He killed someone the last episode. But yeah, I thought him dying by a heart attack was a little anticlimactic. A lot of shows do that nowadays too. That kind of bugs me about modern shows. They like to do this kind of it's called subversion. And I like subversion to an extent, but like a lot of shows go really way too far. And this show not particular, but this moment I felt was kind of like, oh, you're expecting a big fight here, so Sal's just gonna die by a heart attack. Isn't it cool how we turned your expectation upside down? And I'm like, no, not really. Um, you know, I don't. Maybe there's something in previous episodes that said he had a heart condition, um, or some other explanation. But I didn't find that very satisfying moment. It's not the biggest deal because the conflict really isn't about Sal Maroni. He's just the side character, but. Even still, I thought we could have been more clever than we were. Like, it would have been more interesting if like the way Penguin beat him was actually clever rather than just having him die by a heart attack. Sure, the turning the power off was kind of interesting, but the whole scenario felt kind of forced, where it was like, oh, these guys just kind of go into this gang hideout where they're outnumbered and be like, you all work for us now. It's kind of stupid. The same way I thought that like Oz meeting with Sophia in his lab to hand over. I know it was a trick. He was gonna ambush her, but like this doesn't feel like a real criminal setup where it's like both sides would be expecting ambushes. Like I don't know why he didn't expect there to be a bomb in the car. I don't know why he didn't have guys surrounding them from behind. Like, how did that driver was allowed to just run back? Like, he could have had guys behind them to like ambush them. And I know he wanted his mom back too, but just like it stretches your imagination to be like the way they kind of conduct their business sometimes. And I know it's not really the focus. This is not meant to be like a realistic crime depiction. This is not The Wire, and even The Wire wasn't really that realistic, but it's those elements distract me occasionally. It's not that big a deal because the focus really isn't there. This is more like about a character study of the Penguin. But those elements bother me from time to time. So overall, I give this episode like a 7.5 out of 10. Okay, not the strongest. But we'll see how the finale goes. I'm excited to see this. I'm gonna do a video on this show once we're done. And we'll talk about the whole thing. But yeah, for now, can't wait for next week to see that. So thank you all for watching this, and stay tuned for the next one coming up.